Hey, what's good, people? Jason Dibelius, how you guys doing? It is Sports Debate Tuesday, as I promised. This is the first episode for Sports Debate Tuesday. This is my co-host, Rob, keeping McLean. And our hostess with the mostest does not have a camera on her now because we're expecting a third guest. So conspicuous by her absence, whenever she comes, she comes. Rob, we had a lot of stuff we wanted to cover. We wanted to talk about the state of the NBA, who's going to win the Super Bowl. Of course, we're MMA enthusiasts, so whoever's listening is going to have to eat a little Conor McGregor and Cowboy at the end of this, and we're going to have a little fun with that. But let's talk about the elephant in the room, or let's talk about. I guess there's no way for me to make this eloquent, so I'm just going to say it the best way I know how. Kobe Bryant died in a helicopter crash, and it impacted the city, which didn't surprise me, but it felt real when everyone just kind of like hit E. You know what I'm saying? Let me just start how I said it. I'm going to open my little soliloquy, 1 minute soliloquy on where I was when it happened. I'm at Vaughn's, right? I'm shopping at Vaughn's, and girl at the register, she's like, Kobe died. And I'm thinking, well, Kobe beef, what? Something, I don't know, right? So, and I'm like, Kobe Bryant. And she's like, yes. I said, Kobe Bryant died. And I turned around, and the guy on line behind me and the guy behind him are like, yeah. And then I look across, like all the registers are lined up, and all the people, all the cashiers are next to each other. They're like, yeah. And I said, what the fuck? Yeah. And then you get home, and you turn on Sports Network, local, it's blown up. And I'm like, all right, cool. I go to Tennis Channel, and it blew up. I go to the Pro Bowl, which nobody's watching these days, and blew up. So, where were you when you got the news?
There was a beach volleyball tournament that day in Huntington Beach, so I actually had ref the first game, and then we were on the second game. And right before the match started, Miranda was actually saying that Kobe Bryant died. But we actually all thought it was like, The Onion or like one of those, play around websites. But, by the middle of the game, everybody's kind of talking to everybody. And it was crazy to me because she found it like 13 minutes after all like the news places put it up. So like, it was just like the whole day, and that day felt like it went forever. Like I honestly felt like today that it's been a week since he's passed away. It's crazy how time is just like completely slow.
Yeah.
And I was saying this to one of my buddies, like I haven't felt this way since, and I'm not trying to trivialize either or, but it's 9/11. You know, when we were there, and the people in my high school, maybe not my friends, but I knew you could feel like their fathers passed away because their fathers had to go as firefighters. They didn't know, like, there's the difference between putting out a fire. Like, if your father passed away in a forest fire, you're not expecting that to happen.
No.
You just expect them to fight the fire and, come back. But it was like so sudden and onset, and it's like, what do you say? You're not expecting Kobe Bryant to pass away. You're expecting him to, get hurt or, be sick, but never like instantaneous pass away. Like he's $700 million man. What helicopter was that? You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of questions I have about that. That's just the hardest I've ever been hit with something outside of my own family.
It's a very, very good, and in fact, a very brave comparison for 9/11. And I agree with your comparison in the sense that you felt like you got hit between the eyes. Like, what was that? And then you go into this surreal state, like almost this zombie mode where all your regular functions are normal. Like you could still open a door and walk on two legs like a mammal, right? But you feel like it's not happening. You feel like everything around you is not real. Like, Miranda's here, but it's not real. I'm feeling that way right now just talking about it.
That's what I'm saying.
You're here right now, but it don't feel real. It's this sense of surrealism where you're just like, holy fucking shit. Kobe, and like you said, he's Superman, and
invincible.
And all of the talk shows, I'm going to echo most of the talk shows where they said that it really makes you think about your mortality. Like Kobe, like Shannon. I heard Shannon Sharp say Kobe can't die.
Yeah.
You know, he's Kobe Bryant. You
Exactly.
know, he's someone that's less than a god, but more than a man. And of course, we can get into what kind of person he was in a few moments, and how much he impacted people on. I'll start on the global scale. Like we were talking about, like he spent a lot of time in Italy because his father played professional
basketball, and that's when he got his first taste. And then he came back and drafted out of high school, and did his. It's just crazy, man. Like I would say this all the time: he was the very first superstar, because at the time he got drafted, it was like that's when all the cameras and everything was trying to find out about all, and he was in LA, so that was the guy.
Right.
Even Michael Jordan, like he was in Chicago, but Chicago was like not as bustling as LA or New York, you know what I mean? And then he just, I don't know, like, man, he just blossomed, and it's crazy to see. For me, the biggest thing is his peers. Like his peers who he had to beat night in and night out, respected him so much when they fought against each other, but also when they had a little bit of word talk. Like it's never friendly on the court, but outside the court, it's beautiful. It's they just do great things together. They do great things for the community, and that shows all over. Kobe had an international brand. He was in China. He was big in China. Huge. I don't know if I know this correctly, but I'm pretty sure he did like tours over there, like basketball tours over there, shoe tours over there. He tried to really globalize his not only his brand, but what his brand was about was Mamba mentality.
Right.
And that crazy, like somebody's talking to me today, like it's crazy the stuff that you forget. Or the things that he gives, and then he passes away, and you have to start going back and be like, what was he about all the time? Like Mamba mentality, of course, is something that I wanted to how do I say that I wanted to I wanted to make it a part of me too, but there's so much to that, the Mamba mentality. Just the way that he took his sport, I think there's so much more that he just did for himself, even that propelled other people to go that much further. It's like if you have a great person next to you, they're gonna make you greater, because you can, you can just be a supporting character, or you can make them better, and they can make you better, and it could just be a climb up to the top. So. Yeah,
it was. He always was trying to do one better. Like if you came home, wow, I got a 3.5. I remember Shannon said I got a 3.5 GPA. He's like, how come you get a 4.0? What do you have to do to get a 4.0? Once you get the 4.0, like what do you have to do to keep the 4.0 every semester? So it was one of those things where he was always, I won't say next man up, next level up. Just always and testing your limitations. And the other comparison I have is like if Derek. First I was thinking like what if the Yankees, like Derek Jeter, what if he died in a plane crash? And there was a similar Yankee in 1979, Thurman Munson. I'm a longtime Yankee fan. Thurman Munson died in a plane crash, and all of New York was just hit, just right in the gut from it, and it was because his heart and his hustle and the blue collar, the workman-like mentality is what New York sports fans are all about.
Right.
Like when you look at the Knicks of the 90s, you look at the Yankees of the 90s, because if those weren't high-paid players that were bought, those were farm system players.
Right.
So people forget that, right? Jeter was already
the way it should be.
And it's minuscule compared to Kobe, because one, he didn't have the numbers, and two, because he didn't have the numbers, it only affected people on a local scale, and baseball as a singular sport, and not necessarily people outside of the sport.
Right.
Derek Jeter, almost the same thing. First ballot Hall of Famer. He got every vote except one. We want to know the one jackass who thought differently. I want his name and I want his credentials straight.
Well, I think it isn't the vote that he might have not picked him with all the other people that were on the ballot. So it's not necessarily he doesn't like Derek, but he didn't put him as high enough on his list of.
Mm-hmm.
But I do agree, like he should easily be a unanimous. But when Jeter left, sorry, but Kobe.
No, but I think the point I was trying to make is these are all good examples, but the buck stops as far as them making it a big example is concerned. When you think of how Miranda Miranda, you chime in on this. You were just talking about soccer players, right?
Soccer, some tennis players. There's a bunch of different sports where people are trying to show their sport.
Yeah.
Their Kobe stuff.
Kyrgios, the Australian player played Nadal last night. Warmed up with a Lakers jersey, Kobe, a Bryant jersey.
Crazy. Yeah, Neymar was on social media during his game, showing respect. As I'm saying, like he was just a global character, and he happened to be in our country, and happened to play basketball. I just think he's a great person too. I mean, it is not easier, but he dedicated himself to a singular path. Like you don't make a lot of friends necessarily, let's say, on that path, but he did. You don't inspire people on that path, but he did. So he's a great person. It's really difficult. Like you're saying, I feel like I'm walking on air because I don't want to accept the reality that he passed. Right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Do you have any what was the tweet? You have the tweet from LeBron?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I just want us to check it out. Now look, we can go. This is only an hour show, so we can't, unless we have like a news feed on the bottom, which maybe as I become more advanced, I'll do that. But let's do that. What does it say? It says, "I'm not ready, but here I go." Man, I sit here trying to write something for this post every time I try to, and I begin crying again just thinking about you and your niece Gigi and your friendship and the bond and the brotherhood we had. I literally just heard your voice Sunday morning before I left to Philly back in LA. All right, and it goes on. I'm heartbroken. What the fuck? Devastated, my brother. Yeah, and it goes on and on. Cool, man.
Yeah, it's
just make sure that says record. All right, good. Did we start that? Mm-hmm. Oh yes. Oh god. And by the way, I cleared the file too, so
and we in.
Yeah, so LeBron, I chose his because he echoes the sentiment of us who've never met Kobe in our lives,
right.
but at the same time, you don't have to know someone for them to inspire you and for them to touch you. I mean, we can go to biblical figures. We can go to older artists or war heroes. People that are not even alive, that weren't even alive when we were born.
Right.
But we still feel that. We still take that journey with them. We still take the ups and downs. And Kobe is that. Kobe's that guy.
Yeah, just why it's like the peers, because those are the people that you have to battle against. He's good, but no, I gotta beat him, so he's not that good. You know what I mean? And they all, I mean, obviously they've been around each other for so many years. I'm sure they think they're brothers with each other.
Yeah.
But it's just, and then LeBron, they battled for a long time. At the end of Kobe's career, in the middle of LeBron's career, they battled each other. It's just basketball, man. Like I wish I would have seen him on the Big Three. What I mean? I wish I would have seen him coach.
Kobe,
that's.
Look, he was doing the AAU with his daughter, right. which is, I understand that's where they were on their way.
Right.
A helicopter ride that they must have taken scores of times.
To Mamba Sports Academy, I heard. Yeah.
Nice. So he went Sports Academy to Mamba Sports Academy.
Well, yeah, because he was invested in the Mamba Sports Academy, which is, they have beach volleyball teams, they have basketball, they have
Casey Patterson,
a whole bunch of sports, Yep. So it's just a lot of effect that he had. So naturally, that effect will have an effect on the people he affected. It's just
Just, I mean,
Yeah.
words aren't enough, right?
Yeah.
We again, while we can, this can be the whole hour, which we
Right.
wouldn't be wrong for that either.
Right.
Which brings me to my other thing. They were supposed to, Lakers were supposed to play the Clippers tonight, and they're just people are, I guess people were saying Kawhi became acquainted and became close to Kobe as well. He's a little bit of an introvert, so you're not going to see him blowing up the internet over this. Look at Greg Faulkner. I remember playing against his other daughter when she played for Prime and Mamba Sports Academy, and she's been to a few volleyball tournaments. Okay. Yeah, so game was postponed tonight.
Yeah.
What do you think? Yes or no?
Absolutely. I mean, that's just, there's too much. I feel like, and this is what, again, the last time I remember a game being canceled was for 9/11.
9/11.
And it's just, when you're not in the right emotional and mental state, like, you could injure yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can not, it could just not be good basketball. You know, let's just let life happen right now, and we can postpone. You can't postpone Kobe's death. Do you know what I mean? But you can postpone the game. So I absolutely think it was the right thing to do. There were other games that didn't get postponed, you know, like right after he passed away, you know, there was a single game postponed. I think that was the right game to postpone.
Okay.
But,
Yeah.
You know,
Well, there were games happening at that
exactly,
time. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's not like, you know, everything shuts down. It's just there's respect where both LA teams, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's not like somebody's coming in, and even still it should have been canceled, but it's just the Lakers. It's still Kobe's team. Like, LeBron's there, AD's there. Maybe one day it'll be AD's team, but LeBron, even in the next 5 years, even if he wins 4 championships, it will not be his team ever. No. It'll be Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's or Shaq's or Kobe's, but no, I'm sorry.
That's the Lakers for you. Listen, LeBron, when it's all said and done, could be on the Mount Rushmore for basketball, and not on the Mount Rushmore for the Lakers.
That's the truth. It's the truth.
Listen, you can make an argument for all Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who's always forgotten in these GOAT conversations.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Magic Johnson, just a slew of great players, man, just amazing. So this is where sports debate takes place. I think they should have played the game, because as a common denominator, if they asked themselves what would Kobe want, Kobe would want the game to be played. If it's one of these things where the mom was like, is she silent? Maybe I agree with you. Maybe you just postpone. But if she's one of those people that say, like, this is what my husband want, you do it. 9/11, if you remember, all the football games were postponed. That happened on Tuesday, and all the Sunday games were postponed. Right. And the only sporting event I thought that was happening was a sports entertainment event. That was WWE. They decided that it was a good distraction. It was one of those things where, like, Vince McMahon was like, we could sit home and worry and be scared and be sad and just keep watching the news, or we can just get out and then get back, you know. In fact, I think remember that whole 2000 run with the Yankees? It was 9/11 inspired.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That was the Jeter throw.
Right.
That year, if people remember, Jeter playing out of position. They're down 2-0. It was 3 out of 5 against Oakland, and he's rounding third. And Jeter, who had no business even being in that spot, just caught the ball on the relay throw.
Flipped.
Yeah.
Backhand flip. Like, not even a set technical throw, because that's his thing. Yeah. He's super technical.
Yep.
But he went out of the way to get the ball. The ball was, his cutoff should have been on the third baseline. He went all the way. He was there on the first baseline. He wasn't at the third baseline getting to he was at the first baseline and then going to get the ball, got it, backflipped, got him at the home plate.
Good grief. Oh, my goodness.
God dang.
All right, so we just got a Derek Jeter moment, and at the risk of not cheapening this thing about Kobe, what's the first thing that come to your mind for a Kobe moment?
Kobe moment, man. Oof. I mean, the 60
at
the
Miranda,
Garden.
You're going to get in on this too, okay?
The 60 at the Garden, because I actually watched that on TV because I was in New York, so it was like...
Did he do that in 3 quarters? Oh, no.
I think it was... gosh,
But he came, man. He was like, "This is."
I think it
Madison
was.
Square
I think they
Garden.
took him out early fourth or like
Okay.
mid fourth. Yeah, I definitely because I remember that and I was like, yeah, he could have had like 70.
He could. I'm like, this dude trying to go for 80 again.
Yeah, right.
Oh, Miranda, any good Kobe moments?
I would just say it's just the experience of watching him play and growing up, seeing him and Shaq together,
Yeah.
and it was just a family bonding thing, and it was probably the most I've ever known about basketball is when I was like 10 or 11, and just seeing him dominate the court,
Yeah.
and just the evolution of him
Yeah.
just as a basketball player and how he's evolved into Mamba mentality and just kind of
I have a
gone everywhere.
dude. I have a slew of Kobe moments, but I consolidated to the first one that comes to my mind. The 60 he dropped the last game against the Utah Jazz.
That was crazy.
I mean, it's his last game, and he's already saying he's retiring. So
Right.
the best thing an elite athlete can do is not retire, not surprise everybody after the season's over, but say it in the beginning of the season. This is my last year,
Right.
so it's a good time to take pictures. Get tickets. This, you know what I'm saying? Because if you retire at the end, it's like, oh fuck, I wish I saw this guy. So Jeter did it right, Mariano Rivera did it right, and Kobe did it right. So that I'll bring you to that last game where he's there, and it's LA. Shaq's there, Jack Nicholson's there, the usual. It's like a normal night because Miranda was alluding like he could put up 30 or put up 13, but it's a normal night. Just watching the ebbs and flows of his athleticism look like it was all the time. So he just started airballing a bunch of stuff, missing here and bricking there, and everybody's like, all right. And I'm thinking to myself, good, he got in the beginning. People with some last minute pictures. Let's bench him. Have him take some pics of the sideline. Before halftime with Shaq. Have him talk to some of the fans. Let the Lakers finish it out, and then he finally, after jacking up threes and missing shots, finally hit a three, and everybody's like, exhale, finally. Oh, let's get him out now. And then boom, he hits another one, and then fakes one, comes in. That freaking double move, lays it up, and now. For a second half, the motherfucker can't miss, and you're thinking, "Oh, cool, he's gonna hit 30," and he goes out on his sword because the Jazz are still gonna win this game. The Jazz are trying to get into the playoffs, and then boom, it's 35, it's 41, right? And I'm like, tell me this motherfucker's gonna get to 50, because Shaq said dude, your last game you gotta score 50 points, and he's never was like, ha ha ha. Guess at 50, 55, boom, some free throws, boom, 60. Mic drop, Mamba out. Didn't drop it, because maybe he sang karaoke and then, then they don't play that shit, but he put the mic down, but that was Mamba out. That's how, this is the game I want everybody to remember. I was injured, I was up, I was down, my games deteriorated a little bit, I found ways to reinvent myself to still win games, and what I want people to remember is I play to the end. I play to the last shot. I do not take plays off. I'm the fucking Black Mamba, and that's I have recency bias because I DVR'd it and I didn't erase it. I still have it, so I'm still a prisoner of the moment, but that's my Kobe Bryant moment. That's my Kobe Bryant moment.
That's definitely a good one.
Yeah, man.
I forgot about that too. I mean, that was like the time where like I was like, damn, he like sucked everyone in because it was like, oh, turn it on, Kobe's hitting like shots, yeah. And then like, damn, he's like every single shot from the back right, from the top right of the 3-point line. It was just like, whoop, whoop, whoop.
Holy shit, dude.
It's just crazy.
Oh my god, hold up. I'm gonna fix your shot. Raise you up.
Yeah, raise me up.
We got Alexa Strange in this picture, but Alexa Strange has some kind of audition or whatever and this and that, so she had to bail.
Oh no.
So she gonna owe us one because I went through a lot of shit for some shit to make this happen, trying to go out like Fallon. So yeah, I said it. Shit. Sports debate. Where were we? So because this is a 1-hour show and we spent a good chunk, and I know Miranda's got people to do and places to see, or I think I got that in backwards, but
Just me.
you got a football question for us?
Yeah, what do you guys think for the Super Bowl? Who do you think is gonna win?
Aha. I mean,
Oh, this is unrehearsed, Rob. We don't know.
San Francisco, man. Can't deny it. I mean, cannot deny it. I think the best way, especially a young quarterback, Pat Mahomes, awesome player right now. I mean, they finally gave him some rest. I just think a run game and a strong defensive front is going to flush him out of the pocket too many times. That's just my prediction. I think it's going to be, I don't know, 35-28 or 35-24.
San Francisco.
San Francisco.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Jimmy G has never been tested, you know, and I think that, I mean, he's had under 20 or 25 actual throws because they run so much. So even if they don't run the ball, he's now like, ooh, like I haven't done anything, you know. This is my time to shine, you know. And they've been literally like just ushering him along, and like this is exactly what Kirk Cousins needed, you know. Like you don't need a quarterback to drive you there. You need a quarterback to win in those moments. Third down, red zone, control the clock, 2 minutes. If you have that guy, Peyton Manning, if you have that guy, it doesn't like you can build a team around, and then you don't need to pay them that much.
I agree.
You know.
I agree.
So,
all right.
San Francisco.
So you picked San Francisco, and that's a pretty good score. Okay, for me, I want to talk about a guy named Patrick Mahomes. All right, Patrick Mahomes, my little mixed breed, look like older kid in play without the hot top fade. All right, this dude comes into the league second year, I think, wins MVP. And they're a defensive snap away from actually getting to the Super Bowl last year. And it was something that they were determined to fix when they started. You got Andy Reid, you got this class act of a coach. Knew he was going to be back. He always maxes out quarterback potential. What he did with Donovan McNabb and the work that he's done with Alex Smith. You know what I'm saying? And all of those things. And their weapons, you got a guy that runs like a 4.3 at the 40, the running back, and he broke one to score, and that wasn't the story. When he broke one, the guy who caught up to him was Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill, his wide receiver, caught up with him to celebrate. I thought one of the defensive players like street mugged him and took the jersey and tried to run and tackle him. Because I can't believe that this guy was fast enough to separate from everybody else, but not fast enough to lose his own wide receiver, which makes you think, how fast is hell?
Too fast, man.
All right? Love me some homeboy. Love me some Patrick Mahomes. Love the coaching. Love that if it's a shootout, you if they make it a shootout, that's not going to be good news for anybody. With that being said,
how about that defense?
I got to pick San Francisco.
Thank you, sir.
I got to pick San Francisco. Listen, everyone talks about, Jimmy G, he's untested, he's this and that or whatever. I have two things to say about that. One, and this is very important. One, if you have the choice to run 40 times knowing that you're going to win by 2 touchdowns, I don't give a fuck if you have Aaron Rodgers. Right. Okay? I don't give a fuck if you have Dan Marino or reincarnated.
2 great picks, by the way, because neither of them have Super Bowls.
Exactly. Yeah, why? Because they ain't want to run. You know what? Aaron Rodgers got one. He got a Super Bowl.
Oh, that's true.
They beat Pittsburgh. Beat Big Ben. Came in as a 6 seed too. So, but listen, I mean, come on. You beat fucking Jay Cutler was on the exercise bike, and they beat Caleb Haney or something like that to get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so I guess I just don't even classify it as a win.
But anyway, I take exception to people who say Garoppolo has not been tested. When Garoppolo has to, Jimmy G, when he has to throw, he will. And I will take you back no further than week 13 when they played, or week 14 when they played the Saints. That was 48-47.
I know.
Garoppolo lit up the fucking scoreboard. So when that dude has to throw, he will.
And why though? Because he's not. He doesn't.
And that was against Drew Brees. And that was against Drew Brees.
But how many? And Drew Brees has a plethora of running backs back there. How many times he throwing the ball per game?
A lot.
And how old is he? You know what I'm saying? It's like you can't do that.
That's about coaching, then, right?
Yeah, it is. And it's just like because you got to remember, and it's really sad with the Saints. The whole when what's his coach's name? I can't even remember the name now. But he got suspended for the year because of that whole controversy with the
baseball thing?
Hitting players.
Beltran.
No. The Saints.
Sean Payton.
Sean Payton.
He got
the whole Greg Williams pay for a hit or whatever. But since that, Peyton and Brees have never really clicked in my eyes. I think last season they kind of like started to bring it back, but they're aged a little bit. Everybody knows what they're doing. They finally got a Kamara and a running back behind, but they lost Ingram, so now they don't really have a run game. It's like,
listen, this breed of quarterbacks, this age of that generation of quarterback, not willing to give up their spot without a fight, is for a whole nother sports debate. We're gonna do that shit next week because you got Brady. Garoppolo wound up in San Francisco because Brady didn't want to give up the goods. All right. Bill Belichick, it was rumored, and I think it's all true, that Garoppolo was his guy, and then between Kraft and Brady, So, but that was my first point was, no one should apologize for having a good running game. If you can run 5 straight times and you can keep their offense off the field and score, which you're going to need to do against Kansas City. You want Mahomes drinking Gatorade on the bench.
Exactly.
And sometimes there are some games, Jimmy G, turnover-wise, he can be the gift that keeps on giving. So if you don't know if he's going to have that game he had against Drew Brees, don't need to ask the question if your running backs or whatever. So when they run it down Kansas City's throat, and I think it's going to be 24-16. I think Mahomes gets a couple of field goals and a touchdown, and I think the time of possession is going to be like, let's call it 39-21. I think it's going to be like that. I think time of possession is going to be a grind. I think it's going to be something like with the New York Giants. Do you remember what the New York Giants did with the Buffalo Bills? That first one, it was time of possession was 41-19.
Yeah,
and
it's like the game can still
I'll
be
go better. How
competitive.
about the Patriots and Giants?
Right,
that first possession was like 9 minutes. Dude.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's like, and that's what I was gonna mention. Is like the Giants did it to the Patriots. It's just the run game is the equalizer in the league. Just like a defensive line can compete against that. If you have the run game, it's like in any sport, the offense is always going to be able to beat the defense. It's just who does it better.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, is your defense a little tight? Cool, but if you still make your shot, like, it's what it is. It's a goal. It's a score. It's a touchdown. So whatever it has to be, like, your offense will always be able to beat the defense.
I agree.
So that's why I'm looking. I don't really look at like Kansas City going to beat San Francisco. I'm asking, is San Francisco's defense going to beat Kansas City's offense? I don't know. It's a wash. Is San Francisco's offense going to beat Kansas City's defense? I think it's going to be a whooping. Yeah.
Well, I will say this: if they go prevent defense, like I thought Vrabel from the Tennessee Titans made a huge mistake with that. He had good pressure from the front four, a la New York Giants. And that was throwing off the timing of the quarterback because you got 4 people getting there before a route can assimilate, And I think they're going to have plenty of pressure from the front 4, and I think they're going to have a 5th guy that's just going to stay inspired out. Maybe Bosa pulls off. Maybe pulls off and whatever, because he's got speed, he's got lateral movement, and he clogs lanes. Because Mahomes, he's not the fastest quarterback, but he has quickness, and he does get loose, and he did score last time, if you remember. So I picked San Francisco, man. I got to go with San Francisco. I said, but I had to say a bunch of nice things about Kansas City getting back to the Super Bowl.
Well, because I'm not trying to be wrong and trying to get Patrick Mahomes all heated up, because I just think the reason why they're going to lose because running game is going to depict the game, the how things are going to roll, and they're a team who is excitable. You know what I mean? So if they score a first touchdown, they might score 3. But if you score 3 on them and put them into the doghouse, 21, 28, nothing, they're going to come back and start scoring, and you can't match with them.
Nope.
So it's like, don't poke the bear. Run the ball on them, keep them on the bench, get them frustrated. That's how you win.
Yep. Yeah, and the cool thing is the unofficial, the how about the assistant coach in the shadows? How about Kyle Shanahan's dad?
Yeah.
Listen, he got the best job in the world because he ain't got to worry about recruiting.
Yep.
He ain't got to worry about cutting people. All he got to do is sit in the video room and give his son a game plan.
Yep.
Oh my God. And get some of that free work, boy, from daddy.
Because
two-time Super Bowl champion with the Denver Broncos.
If I'm not, was he an offensive or a defensive-minded head coach?
Oh, Kyle Shanahan was an offensive guy.
Not Kyle, his dad. Is that?
I don't know, but he was a.
I thought he was a defensive-minded. That's why I'm saying it probably works for Revo because I know Kyle is definitely a offensive-minded guy.
I think Mike is too, because if you look at how they won those Super Bowls with John Elway, it was ground and pound with Terrell, right? It was ground and pound with Terrell Davis.
But that's what I'm saying.
And they only asked Elway to make a play or two when they needed it.
But that's what I mean. I feel like that's
a defensive coach.
A little easier, yeah. That's
a Rex Ryan type thing.
Because then I think about the defense, and I'm not trying to take away anything from the Denver defense, but it seems like maybe they were working with a little bit less, and they did a lot more.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like kind of like a Belichick, where you're doing a lot with not really the names, and then they become names because you made them good. You know.
No, of course.
System, so.
No, of course. So actually, let me just turn down microphone 3. Right, because we're good. We don't need no echo if there's no one there. Before we touch on my favorite subject at the end, let's talk Eli Manning. Eli Manning had a little retirement thing on Friday, and that's they'll get going away gift, and already people are debating over whether he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame or not. So, Rob McLean. Hi, Jason Dibelius to you, Rob. Keep him McLean. Does Eli Manning deserve to be in the Hall of Fame?
Not first ballot, not second ballot. I think he gets in because of his just like the stable environment he created in a very chaotic market, right? And then won 2 Super Bowls, and then beat not only the 16-0 Patriots. I just think there's a lot behind what he did in his career to trivialize it. And that's what I was saying before about Derek Jeter is when he retired, there was people saying, well, he's not that great. Well, he wasn't that great. He was kind of just mediocre most of the time.
Man, watch your mouth.
Are you kidding me?
Watch what? Man, I'll throw a hot tea on him.
If anybody hits over 300 for your career and you play 10-plus seasons, you are automatically in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Automatically. If you hit for 3,000 hits in your career, I don't care how long your career is, you're automatically in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Now, first ballot, unanimous, whatever, but that's just what it is.
Yeah. Not to mention hit like 400 in the playoffs. So.
Yeah, I can't.
But so Eli's second or first.
Yeah.
All right.
He's getting in, but he's not. I just don't think that he's gonna go. Yeah. He's gonna like squeak in. You know what I mean?
Right. All right, here's what I think. Rob McLean. It's like this. From a New York perspective, I'm going to start from the bottom. I'm going to work all the way to the top of the Hall of Fame. As a New York, a Buffalo Bills fan, but a Giants supporter and a Jets sympathizer. Those are the ways I classify those 3. If I told you that you would have a quarterback for 14 or 15 years, you would only make the playoffs 5 times. You'd have a bunch of losing seasons. Your quarterback would lead the league in interceptions, which we're going to talk about later because that's not just a stat. That deserves a standalone.
I'll talk about that.
But if I told you all of those things, but in trade, you got 2 Super Bowl rings, would you take it?
Of course you do.
Rhetorical question. Of course you would take it. That's one. So now Eli we will call him a New York legend because of that. Now I'll go to the second part. Will he be in the Giants Ring of Honor? Absolutely, because two Super Bowl rings is 2 Super Bowl rings, and if you look at the quarterbacks that they've had, there's Phil Simms.
Yeah, there's literally no one.
So you got to have a quarterback in there.
Yeah.
Now let's go to the Hall of Fame. Let's talk. Everyone is quick to talk about why he isn't. He led the league 3 times in interceptions, but there's another glaring stat people don't talk about. There's this category called dropped passes. And the analytics guys, they have a high standard, meaning if it goes off the tips of your hands or one hand, it's not a drop pass.
Right.
literally hits you in your helmet or between your numbers and you dropped it. He is top 5 for 11 of his seasons of whatever 16 or whatever. 11 of his seasons, he's top 5 in passes dropped. You see Aaron Rodgers throwing people, these guys making these acrobatic catches and this and that.
Right.
He is throwing people right between their numbers.
Right.
Now, the interceptions. How many do you think the interceptions were off of someone's hands, popped in the air, and gently fell into the arms of the enemy? A lot. All right? And there are balls he's trying to throw away. There are balls he takes a chance. And if they're going to judge him on interceptions, then you have to look at the one person who's an interception machine that they had no question about letting the Hall of Fame in. And his name is, say it with me.
Brett Favre.
Brett Favre. An interception machine.
Yeah.
All right. Now that I dismissed the negative.
How many Super Bowls did he win?
Brett Favre won.
Yeah.
And Desmond Howard was the MVP. Fucking special teams guy, okay? Come on.
I would love to know his been lost.
No, but he was the MVP 3 years in a row. The league MVP 3 years in a row, so you knew he was going to get in. Yeah. But when he throws an interception, he's a Cowboy. When Eli throws it, he's careless. So you and me are not going to sit as native New Yorkers. We ain't going to sit here and listen to the bullshit. All right, the double standard. Now let's talk about the positive. His first Super Bowl run. Loses the opening game to the Cowboys. Loses the second game to Green Bay. Loses the last game of the season to the 16-0 Patriots. And you know what? Eli, he didn't give up the goods. They were already in the playoffs, and the Patriots were already the number 1 seed. He fucking played that game like it was a Super Bowl. We put up 35 points on the Patriots, which was the most I think anyone put up. Playoffs. Don't remember the first round. I think it was Tampa Bay. I think it was Jeff Garcia beat him. Beat Dallas and Big D. 13-3 Dallas team and Big D. Beat Brett Favre in the ice cold tundra. Did you see Tom Coughlin's face?
I was in Wisconsin when
he
it
looked
happened.
like a beat.
I hear you.
He looked like a. Yo, I thought his face just gonna explode.
I still think he's red from that.
And how about Eli to Plaxico? Eli put up some numbers in that game. He was a fucking savage. Yeah. And then all of that, and we didn't even talk about the Super Bowl against the 18-0 Patriots.
Yeah, right.
When he needed to make throws, and when it was time to make throws, and when you're under duress, and when it looked like everything was going bad, and they looked to you, your fucking leader, to make a move, he did it. He dodged a sack. Everybody's like, oh, it should have been a sack. No, he got out. Yeah. He got out. He threw a ball and he hit a guy on the fucking helmet. Yeah. And he went to a guy that in practice, I understand, has dropped the pass every single time they ran that fucking play.
I'm sure he has.
And everyone talks about, oh, that play. That play didn't win it for him. The play, you know what won it from? 2 plays later, he threw to Plaxico Burress, who didn't have anyone within 10 yards of him. Right. That ball was in the air so long, I was like, just come down. Just literally come down.
They run that play every single red zone.
Right.
Just highing out to Plaxico. Yeah. Like, come on, double him up.
So was he behind a good defense when he won a Super Bowl? Yes. But who did the defense win Super Bowl MVP? Right. No. He did. Right. Now let's take it to the second one. Playoffs. Goes against Matt Ryan, Atlanta Falcons. They only he puts up 26, and I think the only point they got a safety. It was 26-2 or something like that. Goes against Aaron Rodgers, who is touted by many of these experts as the greatest thrower in the history of the game, which we can argue about later, but let's just assume they're right. They were 15-1. They were 15-1 that season. We going back to Lambeau Field with a younger version of Brett Favre that doesn't throw interceptions. And you fucking light them up. Then you go against the San Francisco 49ers that was like coach of the year, the best defense of the year. It's Alex Smith, but you know what? They made it to the NFC Championship game because you beat a team that doesn't beat themselves. Right. Go back to the Super Bowl. You face the greatest quarterback in the history of the game, Tom Brady. Do it to him again. They give you Super Bowl MVP again. Now, if he's not first ballot Hall of Fame, I ain't gonna cry. I'm with you on that one. If he's not second ballot Hall of Fame, okay. But if he is first ballot Hall of Fame,
he's gonna get.
I'm not gonna cry, Rob. I'm not gonna cry about that either. I'm not gonna cry about that either. Ain't gonna be no tears. Like our boy got in. What the? I mean, does he deserve to be, like you said, second or third? But if he gets in first, I don't think anyone got screwed here. Right. Because if people have to be unbiased as far as a whole body of work. You know.
Exactly.
And some people, like, if you don't know if he should or shouldn't, then he shouldn't. And I like that standard too, because the Hall of Fame is supposed to be the best of the best of the best.
Totally.
Get that. It's two-time Super Bowl MVP. Who else has won the Super Bowl MVP twice?
Right.
Who? None. Bart Starr.
And,
the first two.
And I have to say, like,
the
time,
Tom Brady? Yeah.
like
that's
even his bad stuff, the time, like, he played bad on bad teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
He like, the Giants were like just good enough to beat playoffs, and then they just did good things in the playoffs. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But they weren't like a wow, like, this team is talented. You know what I mean? So, like, when they were like 6-10 and didn't make the playoffs, it was because they, like, sucked. The only thing that was good about the Giants was that they had a good offensive line, which was taped together.
They did prevent.
They barely had it. Like, they were always getting hurt, but they had a good, like, 5 to 7 guys.
Look, you had a guy on the offensive line that was playing as if his father was the coach.
Right.
And
so
guess what?
He kind of
his father was the coach. That was his son-in-law.
Exactly. So it's like, but they had great lines, and they had, like, decent defense in the secondary. But man, they were just a team. They were a team. They were a good team.
All right, so hey, let's last question. We got to wrap it up because Miranda got things to do. Oh my God, she's sweating bullets right now. Yeah, actually, if you want, I could speed it up and I'll introduce the question. Conor McGregor has defeated Cowboy Cerrone in 40 seconds. Conor McGregor is, and we're talking about him because his, as far as interesting people are concerned, he transcends to people that don't watch the sport. And when I say, because someone took offense, I think what's his name, Mark Schumann took offense when I told him, like, volleyball players are not interesting people. And he's like, oh, they're plenty interesting. I'm like, I think I said it the wrong way. I didn't want him to take it the wrong way. When I said they're not interesting people, their personality doesn't transcend to people who don't watch the sport. You know, me, I'm doing this podcast because I'm hoping I can have a meeting of the minds from the indoor and the outdoor and some theater performers, you know. So the question is, did this match tell you more about Conor, or did it tell you more about Cerrone?
Well, yeah, I think the match told me 1,000% that Conor is training again. You know, he's not just stepping onto the octagon and trying to face one of the best UFC wrestlers of all time, for sure. But I just, honestly, Donald Cerrone, to me, I kind of have to agree a little bit, not with the exact words, but I just don't think that he knows how to show up in the times where in the times where you get hyped up, that in the times where, like, Ariel Helwani showed a video that, like, he, in the press conference, he was almost acting as though he was trying to pump himself up, like, that he was unsure that this is going to be a great fight, or that he's going to win the fight. You know, it's almost like he's happy to just be there. And I'm not saying that maybe this is the first time ever, because this is a Conor McGregor. You know, this is a big thing. Everybody's been talking about this for a long time, for some reason.
And it's a big pay-per-view main event. He's got points.
Huge,
He's set for life now.
Finally. And then it's like, man, he just kind of didn't show up. I mean, 40 seconds, like, what is showing up? You know, did Ben Askren not show up because he got kneed in the face in 5 seconds? But
one difference was no one saw that coming.
Well, of course, but no one saw the shoulder shakes that breaks his nose coming. You know what I mean? They both flew in at each other and punched. That was the first 5 seconds, and then they bodied up. He got a couple of shucks to the shoulder, and then his world is mixed. Yeah. You know?
Threw a head kick to Conor, and Conor's like, "Wait, I could do that too."
Yeah, right on the money. I think that Conor is just hopefully, again, starting to train and getting ready for a big rematch against some people that he needs to fight again to prove himself. I think it was way more about Conor, but I also think that Cerrone, kind of showed why he's not that A-list first name called.
Right.
So
I think the match told. I'm going to disagree. I think the match told me more about Conor. It told me more that he has more weapons than just his left hand. He's not afraid to be in the clinch. It was the first time we saw shoulders because there was someone that that as far as grappling is concerned, Nate Diaz is tough in the clinch. He ain't gonna do that to Nate Diaz. He ain't gonna do that to Khabib Nurmagomedov. He couldn't even do that to Chad Mendez, who rolled off the couch with 10 days and had to cut weight to fight him at 145. So it was one of those things where Conor head kick, which could have scored a knockout if if it were anyone else. Donald Cerrone, they say he has a suspect chin, but I think people are being disingenuous when they say they didn't see this coming. You have a guy who has a reputation for finishing people early, going against someone that if he's going to get finished early, it's going to be the first round. And so it was already a recipe for me. It was a recipe for disaster anyway. So it didn't tell me about anything about Cerrone. The big event that he always comes up short, and he comes up short early in the first round. So. So for me it showed more about Conor, but I want to show you this video of Stephen A. Smith hitting like gloves, because I'm putting him on Front Street because he basically said that he quit, and Joe Rogan, him and Joe Rogan were going back and forth, and Joe Rogan's like, he didn't quit, he got his fucking orbital bone broken and his nose, he didn't mentally check out, he just couldn't physically do it. So it was one of those things where, here it is. Oh, beware the dick punch. Rob, listen, Rob, what you know about that dick punch? Listen, okay, I got it figured out. I watched this a bunch of times, and a bunch of MMA guys are like, you got to be shitting me. But I think they all misunderstood this. Okay, my camera's over here. Look, this is what's going on, all right? He is training for a triple threat match against Henry Cejudo, the 125-pound champion. He's got to punch down. And Francis Ngannou, the heavyweight champion. So he's got to punch up. So he's working on his technique to fight both of these guys at the same time. And there is not show that shit again. Show this jackass again. I apologize. He's not a jackass. Stephen A. Smith is my boy, but look. But is that not training? Look at that training. Oh my God, look at that training.
But what is that
Cejudo,
doing?
Ngannou. Ready? Cejudo, Ngannou. Cejudo, Ngannou. Oh my God, Rob! I really hate to cut this short, but your homies gotta go. And
I got work too.
But listen, we're gonna be more prepared on this, and we're gonna do it on our time, and whoever wants to jump in jumps in, and if they don't, they don't. We'll have revolving guests, but episode 1, Sports Debate Tuesday. My man, shake my hand. Holy shit. We did it. For Miranda Gagne, we fucking love you. We know you got places to go. That is Rob McLean. I am Jason Dibelius, and I say, love you. So long. We're out. Thanks, guys. I know Miranda literally got to go. You stop that?